We respectfully request the Sangha great virtues for the sake of this assembly and all living beings. Please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tặng thịt, y thứ pháp môi cấp nhớ thiết chúng sanh. Thịnh chuyến diệu pháp luân giao đạo ngã mùng, như há liêu sanh thoát lư ly khổ đạc lạc, tất chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sa Đan Tô Sư Chế Đô Ye Ở Lại Hơi Đi San Miao San Pu Tô Chế. Nam mô Tác Tác Tha Tô Già Đà Già La Đế Tam Miệu Tham Bồ Đà Toa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I am able to see and clear, I will receive and maintain it, and vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual doctrines. Wu shang sheng sheng wei miao fa bai qian wan jie nan zao yu. 我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Sutra, Great Master YongHua, O good monks and nuns, and all good knowing advisors, Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨、智者大师、师父、上人、各位出家人、各位善知识, Emitofuo. Chư Phật Bồ Tát kính thưa trí gia đại sư, thượng thiên hóa, quý thầy cô và quý vị thiện sư Thích Ca Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone, today is the 15th of March 2025. We are here at the Way Mountain Temple to discuss the Vimalakirti Sutra. We're in chapter 1, the section where they're describing some of the 32,000 bodhisattvas in attendance, listening to the Buddhas speaking of this Vimalakirti Sutra. Right now we're on Bodhisattva Jewel Torchbearer. Jewel Torchbearer is, we are talking about, he used a jewel torch, okay, as an analogy to illuminate the way components. So we started talking about the way components, or the various aspects of enlightenment. What does it take to reach enlightenment? This is a Buddhist Dharma of enlightenment that all the Buddhists need to follow through or go through in order to become a Buddha, to become enlightened. Okay, so there's 37 different aspects of this where you practice these 37 parts, you reach enlightenment. And so we started already about the first four, the four stations of mindfulness. Memorize these things again. We memorize the four are the body, the four mindfulnesses, places of mindfulness are by the body, feeling, mind, and Dharma. As a reminder, it's very important. Remember, the body is impure. Don't be attached to it. Number 2, feelings are suffering. Okay, including feelings of pleasures. Okay, if you have feelings at all, you suffer. So stop complaining. Unless you have no feelings, you become a marionette. Number 3, the mind. The mind is impermanent. It changes. Today she loves you, tomorrow she doesn't. That's expected. And vice versa. Number 4, Dharma has no self. All right, memorize it. Number 2, in order to reach enlightenment, you also have to be vigorous. The 4 vigors of 4 are also called the 4 severances. Okay, I think this is where we are starting today, yeah? Okay, thank you. So, make no mistakes about it. You cultivate and you want the results. You need to be vigorous. You cannot be lazy. Vigorous as opposed to being lazy, as being lax. Okay? When you relax, you enjoy yourself, it's okay. You go and have fun. But when you cultivate, this is a time for you to be vigorous. Okay? What are the 4 vigors? By definition, to be vigorous has to do with good and evil. Because you apply vigor for a purpose. You don't simply are vigorous. I'm vigorously pursuing pleasure. That's not vigor in cultivation. Okay, in cultivation, when you cultivate, you need to cultivate vigorously to deal with 4 aspects of life. Okay, they are about evil and good. Okay, as far as good things are concerned, it says here, if the good things have not been arisen, then you work hard to make them arise. Number 2, if good thing has arisen already, then you make them multiply or grow. And in parallel, if evil things have not arisen, you work hard to suppress them and not allow them to arise. Number 4, if evil things have already arisen, you work hard to make them severed, to sever them. Okay? So that's why vigor is about. Vigor is about vigorously deal with evil, vigorously deal with goodness. A very specific application of vigor. Okay? And in summary, you can vigorously work tirelessly to deal with goodness and also deal with evil. Any questions? All right. Yes, 5.
It's a question from YouTube. It's from Shirley. Master, we are attached to many things that are impure. I don't get why we should not be attached to our body just because it's impure. Thanks.
if you are attached to the body, then it gets in the way of developing your wisdom. And this is the Buddha's wisdom. Okay, he says, what really prevents ordinary people from unfolding the wisdom is the excessive attachment to their bodies. Let's be clear about it. Excessive attachment to the body is not conducive to your opening your wisdom. However, neglecting your body is not conducive to your wisdom either. There must be a middle way. All right? Yeah. Did I answer the question? Is it clearer now? If it's still not clear, ask me to clarify. Okay? What it really points out to is funny. It's a first thing that the Buddha teaches, and if it turns you off, it's kind of like an elimination process. If this is, you say, okay, I love my body, and so Buddhism is enough for me, and that's fine. We understand. Okay, so it's kind of very quick elimination of those people who do not understand. Okay, however. Just like the person who asked the question, I struggle with this concept. I say, hey, I worship my body. My body is important to me. That's the source of many of my joys and meaning of my life. How can I not be attached to the body? Okay, and it's a typical reaction for most people. Okay, so the way you cultivate is that you need to be aware of the excessive attachment to the body. But the body, attachment to the body is normal in the sense of course, I'm attached to my arm. I'm right-handed. I'm not going to let you cut off my right arm. Forget it. Right? But to go to extreme, for example, for me to go and do a nail extension, that's being excessively attached to my body. Does it make sense? So yes, I protect my arm, I clean my arm, massage my arm, and work out to build up my biceps and triceps. That's normal. But for you to go to extremes such as, I don't know, what's extreme to you? Tattooing my girlfriend's name on here? That's too much. Okay? So avoid extremes is the first thing you ought to do. Okay? And eventually as you cultivate, you understand more about not being attached, avoiding attachment to the body. Does it help? Yes, I understand. I came from the same perspective as well. I say, hey, this doesn't make sense to me. The body is the best thing I have, the most important thing I have. The gold cannot buy. Have you seen the price of gold lately? And they're predicting it's going to go to $6,000. I'm buying gold. If I can find the money. Yes, in the back.
Master, I also attach to the body. I attach to the tattoo. I like men with tattoo. Is there a way?
I'm just the opposite of you. I do not like women with tattoos.
I feel it's like
too much ink. Ink belongs on paper.
I feel like it's like an art.
Yeah, but art to me belongs on the wall of the Louvre. Can you imagine if your boyfriend gets fat? So the face is small now, balloons. It's up to you. Each person has different things. The thing is that the interesting thing here to me is that the first thing that comes to mind is attachment to the body. And so it's very challenging for us Buddhist disciples. You really believe, you say, okay, that's what I did. I said, okay, I don't get this. I'm attached to the body. Okay, period. And if, in order for me to get to first stage arhatship, I need to detach from my body, okay, I don't know. I don't know how, okay? But this is part of the magic of Buddhism, okay? You don't get it, okay? You don't get it, but if you believe in the Buddha, your intellect does not grasp it, cannot grasp it. But if you believe in the Buddha, you believe you're the teacher, okay? You follow instructions, and when you get the first stage arhatship, you look back and say, that's what it means. It's a test. That's all. Okay? So, for example, the person who asked, she's beyond first stage arhat already, meaning that she's able to overcome the first attachment already. And now she's giving me a hard time about it. Isn't it funny how life is? These ungrateful people. They get there and they don't understand what it is, and it's going to take you quite a while before you really understand what it means. That's why we will not explain everything to you, but there's no way you can get there unless you can not be attached to the body. How is that? Is that magical? And when you get older, higher, not and older too, okay, then someday you say, that's what the Buddhist teaching is about. Okay? And it's so ingenious. The Buddhist teachings of the Buddha's wisdom is so tremendous. It's wonderful. Okay? And yes, you Americans are entitled to ask why. Why is that? Why? At some point in time, we just tell you, shut up. Just do it, and you understand why eventually. Okay? And the proof is in the pudding. Again, you get to first stage arhatship and beyond, you have to be able to detach from the body. Okay? And when you become a teacher, then you say, that's what I need to do to teach people how to get there. Get it? But when you're not a teacher yet, your level is not high yet, you still have to be patient until we teach you. Well, you got to give us something to do. And this is, for example, this is what my master, my Chinese master, Master YongHua, never taught my generation. That's why my generation, we don't allow you to ask questions. I'm attached to my body, period. So should I forget about Buddhism? Should I forget about becoming enlightened? Okay, if the American educated people ask us, my generation, that question, they would not know how to answer you. I lucked out because initially my disciples never dared ask. Maybe something about my being too ferocious. Okay? And there are two ways to avoid questions. Number one, you don't allow them to ask questions. No time to ask questions. 5 minutes! Quickly! Okay? And if they, that one is a troublemaker, don't call out his name, that kind of thing. Okay? That's the first approach to avoiding such questions. Okay? Number two is not allow them to talk at all, to ask questions at all. Okay? So when you do that, then you never open your wisdom. You run scared as a teacher. Yes, next.
two people from YouTube. Shirley says, Master, I'm very grateful to your teachings. I will contemplate it. And from Zihong.
No, you have to be honest, okay? I tell you, just because you get there doesn't mean you know how to explain. Because the way we teach you is that I'm going to bring you through it quickly, and rush through it, okay? Like channeling the horses through the corral, okay? And then when the time comes, and then we teach you. Right now, there's no point in getting there because understanding that is not something you can right now. And if we teach you too much right now, you'll be distracted and you think you know it all. Okay, I want you to be humble. Okay, even where you are right now, you're preparing, you're being trained to be a teacher, you still need to be humble. There's lots of things I haven't taught you yet because it's not time yet. Okay, knowing, you only need to know enough to break through, but not too much to get encumbered by unnecessary baggage that are not helpful in your journey. You don't need to explain yet. I need to explain, okay, but you don't. All right, number 5, go.
Sorry if I mispronounced the name, Zihong.
Yeah.
Master, what are the things we do when we are attached to minds? Please elaborate on this.
The mind is impermanent. The one of the things that, it's a good question. These Chinese people are dangerous. This is why sometimes I regret allowing you to ask too many questions. You're pushing, one person pushes me and the next person pushing me further and further and further. So pretty soon I'm running out of space. I will lose my temper. You ask many questions. Next. And blacklist that person, okay? Anyway, so what is this attachment to the mind? Okay. The two things that is kind of interesting to me about this, the mind is impermanent. Okay. Number 1 is that for many of us, it's people liking and disliking us. You know, you work so hard to please your husband. And he has a girlfriend. No? He tells you he loves you to death, and then you find out he has a girlfriend. So, yes, he loves you, but then he doesn't. That's an example of the mind is impermanent. Okay? Doesn't strike home to you? Are you shocked that we talked about this? This is kind of something that most people say, oh, let's not go there, let's not go there, because you can't win going there. But that's the naked truth. We change our minds all the time. When are you going to wake up to that? No, love is not forever, because we change our minds. Should I stop? Are you depressed? How could you like a Catholic guy? I mean, never mind. Okay. Now is the time to change your mind. Okay, so the mind permanent is that when it comes down to liking and disliking, it's not permanent. So don't get too excited about it. He loved you? Yeah, enjoy it. You know what I mean? Okay? And same thing. So stop fooling yourself about it. The mind, we change our mind constantly. It's not just love, it's about friendship, it's about everything. Our mind is wishy-washy. Agree or disagree? So enjoy it while you still can. It's too brutal? Okay, we'll talk about more pleasant things from now on. Okay, enough for today. There's only so much you can take. Okay, that's number one about mind. Okay, number two thing is about your knowledge. Okay, the knowledge you have there in particular is very, very limited. Your intellect is very, very limited. You should not depend too much on your knowledge. All right? Is that it? 5, or you have more?
I have something to share. So, with a lot of people, they seem to validate themselves by what people think about them on the internet and how many followers they have. So
yes,
but
no, it's about money. It's not just a number. Of
yeah,
people.
just like
the
what people comment and like you or whatever. But since I've been cultivating, I noticed like some kind of level of I don't care what they think about me on the computer, and like more detached from it since I started at the temple, and a huge difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a recipe for disaster and for unhappiness. If you pay too much attention to how many people like you, how popular you are, they will change their minds. No two ways about it. Okay, just something most personal to us is personal relationships. Okay, with the people who are close to us. Okay, and the reality is that yes, it's exciting at first, but we change our minds. No, and that's the nature of our minds. We change it because we get bored. We need more excitement, and so forth. All right? But that's normal for us. That's the way it is. Yes, DTT.
Master, how do we strike a balance between taking a loss and shooting straight, which sometimes can be contradictory?
What does it have to do with the mind?
This is a separate question.
Separate question. Okay, you have to help me. I get confused as we're talking about so many things. I'm still trying to relate to the mind and feelings and the body impure and so forth. Now you jump to an entirely different topic. How do you reconcile the difference between taking a loss and
Shooting straight.
shooting straight? Okay? There's nothing to reconcile. When you shoot straight, expect to take a loss. No one likes it. What else do you want? Okay? You shoot straight. Okay? Most of the time, people don't like it. The people who say, I like it, are lying to you. Okay? And so you have to be prepared to pay the price. Because when you shoot straight, when you straightforward, you offend people most of the time. But there is a reward for it. The reward is that you have a much stronger chance of opening your wisdom. So you have to choose. If I take a loss, when I shoot straight, I know I'm taking a loss. Okay? Is it worth it for me to take that loss in order to open my wisdom? Most ordinary people, they feel, oh, it's not worth it. They don't see any real benefit about having wisdom. But if you see any real benefit from having wisdom, then you feel that the loss is nothing. It's deliberate. When we shoot straight, we offend people. Okay? And this is why I will always be a boutique, because I offend too many people. It's not like the typical Dharma master who sits there and talk in a magnanimous way and smile and be gentle, reassuring to you, okay? Makes you feel good about yourself, about your ego, about your attachment to your body, about your love, about your success, okay? There's a price to pay. When I do that, yes, I become more popular, but my wisdom doesn't increase. So each of us have to make a choice. I choose to be true to myself. I say, okay, if I offend people, I'm sorry. I will apologize later. There's a price to pay, yes. But for the sake of increasing my wisdom, maybe someday I decide it's worth it. Right now, I don't think it's worth it yet. It's kind of tough to be poor. It sucks. Does it help?
It's a lot, Master. Can I do a quick follow-up of why it increases wisdom?
The nature, your real nature, your Buddha nature is straightforward. It's not torturous at all. When you're not straight, it's because you have this fear of being disliked. It's fear of offending people. Your real Buddha nature is fearless. It has no fear at all. So that's a Buddhist teaching. I have a lot of fears, but at least I'm trying to reduce as many fears as possible. Okay? One of which is that the fear that you won't like me. It's too late for that. It's in my attitude. Okay? Too late. I can't help it. If you feel that it's not worth it for you, you don't want to be too straight, okay? Then you, at the same time, while you are increasing in popularity and having more people around you, but it also your wisdom is not going to increase. That's all. And my life is different from yours because my life is geared towards increasing my wisdom, not my popularity at all. It's a conscious choice. There are plenty of monks out there who are doing all the right things to become more popular, and in their view, it's very helpful for Buddhism. I agree. They're serving a group of people, Buddhist disciples and non-Buddhist disciples, okay? They're doing a great job at that. For me, I'm serving a different group of Buddhist disciples, those who are seeking wisdom above all. And there's a niche for it. Okay? Anyone else? Yes, 5.
This is from NorCal Daniel. Daniel asked, Master, is it okay if we forget about our past? Because when I remember my past, I feel that I would be a better person if I keep my past more present. Any advice on this?
My past more present? What does it mean, my past more present? Let's get back to that. Go Force has a question.
마스터, 제가 첫 번째 몸에 대한 집착에 대한 질문이 있는데, 몸에 대한 집착을 마스터 법문을 듣고 몸에 대한 집착을 하지 말아야 되겠다라는 것에 집착을 해서 몸을 전혀 돌보지 않는 것도 몸에 대한 집착이라고 생각하는데 그게 맞는지 먼저 질문 드리고요. 상우쌤 안 들.
I have a question about the attachment to our body. So I listen to your Dharma, not being attached to the body. So I try to detach to my body. So, but if I neglect my body, is it also attachment to the body?
Okay, you have to avoid neglecting your body. Neglecting your body is not good. It's an attachment. An attachment to neglecting your body. There's a difference between your body is impure. Just because the body is impure doesn't mean you should neglect it. Okay, it's just like you have a diamond that's dirty. Do you discard your diamond? No, you clean it. Does it make sense?
네.
This is the attitude in Buddhism. We know the body is impure, okay? But it's very important to us. It's a treasure to us. Therefore, clean it. Don't discard it. Don't abuse it. Don't do things to make it dirtier. How's that?
네, 두 번째 질문은 제가 이제 두 번째 질문은 우리가 이제 좋고 싫다라는 마음의 집착이 있는데 예를 들면 그냥 그냥 예를 들어 그냥 중립적인 상태에서 싫은 사람이 갑자기 나타났다. 그러면 그게 싫은 사람과의 안 좋았던 히스토리 때문에 싫다는 마음이 일어난 건지 아니면 그 사람은 싫다라고 결정한 내 감정 때문에 그 사람이 기분이 그러니까 번뇌가 일어나는 건지가 제가 좀 궁금했거든요. 상우쌤 다시 할까요? 아니면 제 질문 이해가 가시나요?
Second question, we have attachment to what I like and what I dislike. So when I meet people who I don't like, I have a dislike feeling. Is it because I choose to dislike about this person, or is it because there is some bad experience about the people?
Well, I don't know how to, I don't understand you at all. I don't know how you could like someone or dislike someone because we are wired differently. The people you dislike are the ones I like, and one you like are the one I dislike. So therefore, I can't really help you. See how you chicken out on answering questions?
마스터 이제 제가 궁금한 건 사실은 그 반야신경에서 마스터께서 생각 없이 사람을 좋아하고 싫어할 수 있다라고 말씀을 하셨었어요. 네.
Master, in Heart Sutra, you said we can like and dislike without thinking.
그러니까 생각 없이 좋아하고 사람을 싫어할 수 있다라고 하셨는데 제가 그게 어떤 경계인지 질문드린 적이 있고요.
You make me feel like throwing away all my sutra explanations. I should dump them in the garbage cans. All of them. Make things easier for you. What was the question again?
그러니까 질문이 뭐냐면 굉장히 마음이 편안한 상태에서 과거에 나한테 잘못을 저지른 그 사람이 현재에 나한테 나쁜 짓을 한 건 아님에도 불구하고 싫어하기로 결정한 사람이 나타나면 제가 번뇌가 일어난다는 거죠. 네.
You have to learn to be more Americanized. The Americans are a lot more, impolite. They would say, they use a much shorter sentences to challenge me. You take too long to get to the point.
네, 맞어. 그럼 다시 얘기할게요.
It's like,
맞어.
instead of saying this and that for 5 minutes, the American would say, I don't believe you.
그러니까 맞서 제가 굉장히 편안한 상태에서 일을 하고 있었는데 갑자기 제가 한이 나타난 거예요. 그러면 제가 한을 굉장히 싫어하는데 한이 현재 나한테 잘못한 것도 아닌데 한을 보면 번뇌가 일어났을 경우에
There you go. You're still taking too long.
Master, my mind is very peaceful, but for example, Han appeared, and then let's say I don't like Han. So she didn't do anything to me,
What did she do to you?
but I dislike her because I decide to hate her.
Don't worry. You like her in tomorrow. Your mind is impermanent, remember?
아니, 맞서 제 질문이 뭐냐면 지금 현재 나쁜 일을 한 것도 아니고 제가 편안한 상태에서 좋은 사람 싫어하는 사람이 나타났을 경우에 제가 번뇌가 일어나잖아요. 그게 감정 때문인지 마음에 대한 집착 때문인지 아니면 그 안 좋은 기억 생각 때문인지를 질문이거든요.
You're so ungrateful.
So right now, my mind is don't have any affliction, but when I met somebody who I don't like, the affliction arises.
Yeah.
Is it because of the feeling of the person,
Yes.
or is it because of the thinking of
Yes.
the past experience?
Yes. One piece of advice. Be nicer to your husband. If you talk to him the way you talk to me, like this every day, I run away from home. I'm kidding. It's okay. He must love you a lot. I hope he doesn't change his mind too soon. How about this? Okay, you're trying to understand too much. How about just this? Go home and find ways, come up with ways to love your husband more. How's that? If you do that, then all this thing about body impure, mind impermanent will become clearer. Okay, you're chasing after knowledge, that is just like intellectual discussions. I want you to live your life and feel like you're doing something important that is making a difference for someone you care for or who cares for you. Okay? Don't worry so much about knowledge. I think you're pursuing your own tail. It's useless. That knowledge there, the more I teach you, the more you understand, the more I feel like I feel like you become attached to knowledge instead of you using your knowledge. The thing I teach you is meant for you to use it to make your life more pleasant, make life more pleasant for people around you. Okay? That's more important to me than whatever you think about wonderful existence or true emptiness. That's meaningless to me. Okay? You cannot get there unless you use whatever you hear, you learn, to make yourself a better wife, a better friend, a better worker. That's the most important thing to me. Okay? And if you learn all this time you spend at our temples in Korea, helps you become more loyal, more devoted to your husband, to your family, then your time is well worth it. But if you keep on increasing for the sole purpose of increasing your knowledge and so that you understand what I'm talking about, to me it's not very useful. You going about it the wrong way. Okay? Whatever you know, whatever you learn, should make you a more likable person, more considerate person in particular. Korea people, you agree? Okay? You choose to know, you choose to accrue knowledge instead of improving yourself. You're only increasing your knowledge, you're not improving you as a person. When I speak about improving, I'm talking about becoming more appreciated as a human being, wherever you are, at home, at work, at the temple, without having to compromise your values. I hesitate to say that because that's what your excuse is for not changing. I will compromise my values. No, there are certain things that you miss the point in all these Buddhist teachings is that you too focus upon your being right, you're agreeing with it. Okay? And judging others instead of learning to accommodate others. You don't accommodate others, you judge others and you reject them. And that's a mental sickness. You live in society, you need to compromise somewhere, somehow, so that people can live with you. And let them appreciate you for who you really are, instead of judging them constantly. I hope it helps. It's a lot to work on, but one thing at a time. That's why I go back to this very simple thing. The thing cannot go wrong is go home. I mean, not right now. Go home and try to figure out how to make your husband happier. Appreciate him more. That's a very good homework for you. Next level is a level of loyalty and devotion. I taught you about that in my sutra lectures already. You're not applying it. Are you more devoted to him? Are you more loyal to him?
마스터, 제가 남편한테 거의 매일 연락을 하고 남편의 안부를 묻고 남편의 건강을 걱정하고 있고요.
Master, I talk to my husband every day. I call him and ask how he's doing well, and then I concern about his health.
그리고 매일 수행하고 있는 수행의 공덕을 남편과 뭐 이름을 밝힐 수는 없지만 몇몇의 한 10명 정도 되는 사람에게 매일 수행을 하면서 했던 공덕을 회항하고 있습니다.
And every day I transmit my merit and virtue from my practice to my husband and 10 other people.
Yes, I'm not saying you're a bad person. This is hard for me. You want to know that. Excuse me. Okay, I'm not saying you're a bad person. Okay, I'm only suggesting that you try to be even nicer. Yield more to him. How's that? Keep it very simple. Okay? There's nothing wrong with yielding to him. And if you are a man, I will tell you there's nothing wrong with you yielding to your wife because of the nature of your character. If you can simply learn to yield more and more and more, and that's much more important than you think. It's not about being right. It's about yielding for you. Okay? You don't yield. You only do things because you believe it's right. How about yielding when you believe he's wrong? You still yield. I do it all the time. My disciples are wrong. I yield to them all the time. I'm telling you and suggesting something I do every day. My disciples, especially my nuns and monks, are so stupid. I still yield to them. Okay? Okay, enough. It's okay.
마스터 하나만 더 있어요. One more.
She doesn't listen, does she?
마스터 제가 네 마스터 양보해 주세요.
Please yield me.
What? Please what?
Please yield to me.
Yield to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
마스터 제가 현재 마스터께서
How long have you been married?
11 years.
Be nicer. Oh, God. What a guy. I'm learning to appreciate your husband more and more. Enough. Think about it, okay? Don't make excuses. Yes, 5.
This is from Daniel, NorCal. Daniel following up
Of
about
course.
keeping his past more present. He was talking about, he says, as in remembering it more and completely forgetting about it, I feel more lost when I forget my past, and I feel like I have more purpose when I remember the past. It also makes me feel that my past went to waste if I forget it.
Huh? Okay, from now on, we limit all of you to 1-minute questions. I'm getting lost here. It's out of control. No, I think it's something that you want to talk to us in person, because it's not that hard. You have to learn to express yourself more clearly, especially for a person in your position. Okay, this is America. This is not your original country. Okay, you have to get to the point a lot quicker and express yourself more clearly. Okay, so Let's take it in private instead of my elaborating on this, spending more time on this. Okay? I think people are getting impatient. All right? So make an appointment, and if you're too busy, we can talk over the phone. I know you're very busy. Anyone else? Yes, servant. This is the day. Ask away.
Master, how do I make kindness arise? How do I make the good roots that's not the reason arise?
Okay. Good question. First starts with your mind. You need, and you have it already, you need to be determined to do more good. It's not about being right, for God's sake. You, Western educated people, are too stuck on being right. It's not about being right. Okay? There's no wisdom in being right. Wisdom only unfolds when you are kind and you are compassionate. This is where the Americans will always fall short. They're too stuck, especially the people in this country, too stuck on righteousness. It's appealing to them intellectually. It's justifiable to them. But they fail to understand that whatever makes sense to you intellectually, okay, is not going to help you unfold your wisdom. It's not going to help you become more compassionate, kinder, and more compassionate. It's okay to be wrong, in other words. Yes, it's okay that out of kindness, you deliberately choose to be wrong, to be taken advantage of, out of kindness, out of compassion. And that's your Buddha nature. Just think about it. I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about the Buddha. Okay? The Buddha is very kind, very compassionate, because he looks at us, look at me, and says, this guy, I know he's trying to con me, he's trying to curry favors from me, okay? He's full of it, okay? But I'm going to be kind, I'm going to be compassionate to him anyway. That's how Buddhas function. That's what you're capable of if you were simply let go of your sense of righteousness and say, this is wrong. No, you learn to look at people's suffering. Okay? Instead of their being wrong. They're screaming at you. They're blaming you. They're throwing tantrums like Jumi. Okay? Don't look at her, why are you an adult and you behave like a little princess? Okay? No. Oh, I'm just using a name Jumi, it's not you. Okay? Okay? Instead of looking at the wrong, you're looking at why are they doing this? What is the nature of the suffering? That's why they're trying to make me suffer. They're suffering so much, they're trying to make me suffer. They're trying to punish me. What is that that's eating them up, that's making them decide to punish me? That's what Buddhists do. The Catholics, they stop and they pride themselves on being right. This is wrong. This is right. No. We want to do is we want to be kind because we know that people are suffering so much, so we want to bring a little bit more joy to their lives. A little bit of joy, that's all we can do, okay? But it helps. And then what we can do to relieve the suffering, because they're all suffering so much, especially here in a Saha world. You go to Pure Land, you cannot see that. You go to Pure Land, no one is suffering. Not the same way you can see it here. Here, people are suffering, you can see it right away. Huh? Look. Zoom into Jumi, for example. Just zoom into Jumi. Can you zoom into Jumi's face? Look at her face. Is it the face of someone who's happy? Never mind about Jumi. How about my face? Zoom in. Is it a happy person? No. I'm very unhappy. It's so easy. It's a lot easier to see that people are suffering and you realize you simply let go of the sense of righteousness for God's sake. And that's the core of goodness, folks. Goodness is not about right and wrong. It's about compassion. It's about kindness. Did Buddha teach about, he said, you should be righteous first? No, it's the Catholic teaching, be righteousness. Buddhist teaching is not about righteousness. It's about kindness and compassion. Yes, she's taking advantage of me. It's okay. I can give. Because I'm strong. I'm not afraid to be wrong. I'm not afraid to be taken advantage of. I'm not afraid to take a loss if it helps provide a little bit of relief to the suffering. Someone has to pay the price. For you to give rise to goodness, you must be prepared to take a loss. There's a price to pay when you do good. It's not free. Someone has to pay for it. Does it help? And finally, giving rise to good is not, we're not talking about, you go and save the world. I'm talking about just little goods. The smallest good you can do. Make a child smile. Huh? Just little things that can help others. Do not ignore that. All right, anyone else? And there's an advantage to giving rise to goodness because it frees you from the constant manipulation, the constant calculating to benefit ourselves like we train and educated to do. It's so petty. The Westerners are so petty. They want an edge, they want some benefits. And we Buddhists are willing to make sacrifices and not think about benefits. Never put our self-benefits before everyone else. That's what Western education is weak at. And what the result is, because you have a society of very unhappy people. Proof is that, especially Catholics, they're unhappy. What is the proof? If they're happy, they don't talk about happiness anymore. They don't talk about, if they're successful, they don't talk about success anymore. There's no point talking about happiness if you're happy already. All right. Number 3, third group, is the 4 spiritual completenesses. Okay? That number 1 is, and this is, by the way, this is how you develop spiritual penetrations, if you're interested. Okay? 1 is desire. Okay. Sorry, it's not as you wish, but actually it's desire. Okay, corrected. As you wish should be desire. My mistake. Next is vigor. Number 3 is mindfulness. Number 4 is contemplation. Okay. There's some people who says, I need to go and learn from others how to develop spiritual penetration, all those things, okay? Whatever they're learning is inferior Dharma to this. You want spiritual penetration, 4 things: desire, vigor, mindfulness, contemplation. But you know what? Now I explain it to you. Don't worry about it. Okay? I want you to know we know, but we don't bother. It takes time. You develop, you after it, this is how you do it. Got it? But now you know, don't do it. It's not worth it. It's premature. Okay? You're going to get stuck if you have all these abilities. Any questions? I thought you'd be all raising your hands. I said, I don't care what you say, Master. I want to have spiritual penetration. Can you elaborate more? Anyone? Chung Yin Suning? This is a good way to impress people. Now he wants to know.
예, 아닙니다.
No.
No? Are you sure? Instead of going and get someone to certify you, whatever, all you have to do is, work on these 4 spiritual penetrations, 4 ruizu, these 4 spiritual completenesses, and you become so famous. And you don't need anyone to certify you. You certify them. Okay, next. 5 roots. The roots here in concept is, in Buddhism, is the ability to grow. Grow what? Grow goodness. We're interested in growing goodness in our heart. You see, this is why I'm so disappointed after all these years. Buddha never taught me how to grow more money. Just goodness. Totally useless. Okay? So that's why in order to grow goodness, you need to have these types of roots. Okay? What are the roots for goodness? Number 1, faith. You want to have more goodness in your heart? Have faith. Okay? Faith in what? Faith in the proper path, and faith in the assisting the way dharmas. Okay? You need to believe that the path we're walking is a path of goodness. The longer you stay on it, the more goodness will grow in your heart. There's a proper dharma, there's a proper way of practice that will grow your good roots. And that's what Mahayana is about. And you also have faith that that by walking this path of goodness, you will be able to bring forth or produce samadhi, liberation, and non-outflows. This is why we're doing this. It's a lofty goal. Lofty goal is concentration. Liberate yourself from your ickiness, from your pettiness. If you're not petty, then you have no business being here. Okay? And liberation. Liberation from what? Let me put it simply for you. Liberation from your mediocrity. You're so mediocre and you're so content with your mediocrity. You don't realize you're a far superior person if you only allow yourself to go there and to become. Your teachers are so mediocre that they encourage you to be mediocre like them. Liberate yourself from mediocrity. You are far better than this. Yes, 8.
For Master, when I have an intrusive thought, I know that it's like something stupid, like something that I'm fixated on, is the best way to drop it. Just kind of like internally saying, medicine master or Guanyin Bodhisattva, is that the best way to drop it in the moment? Like, for example, if I'm surrounded by people and I cannot get fixated with maybe judging someone or like some aspect of their face, like it might be a mole or something, very silly, very, and I recognize this stupidity of it. How now I'm aware of it, and I'm trying, in my head I'm saying, okay, kindness, but sometimes it kind of lingers on. Is the best way to drop it? Would it be to just say Medicine Master Buddha or something like that, so then it kind of goes away?
Could you imagine she's like that? Anyone? Look at her. You realize that when she looks at you, she's kind of judging you, say, oh, yeah, I don't like your mole. Wow, you are amazing.
Not really, which is why I'm asking for help.
I'm glad you spoke up. I thought you were kind of like adorned. But no, actually you're judging the rest of us like crazy. Oh, yeah. Makes me feel like sometimes my kindness is misplaced. Just kidding. Okay, you got it, okay? The thought of judging people, disliking people, it's just a thought, that's all. And you're doing the right thing, okay? You have so many tools you've learned so far. Number one, ignore it, okay? It's just like a dog barking. A dog barks, ignore it. The thought arises like a dog barking, ignore it. Okay?
It doesn't happen all the time. It's just like, for example, like I've had like 2 or 3 days where it's just kind of like this little, kind of like little tiny things, and it's ugly. So.
Yeah. Don't have to make excuses. It's okay. Okay? Yeah, normally we like that. Normally we don't have these ugly thoughts. But when they do, they come like crazy, right? Like in particular, in your case, like one person or some type of people would tend to aggravate it, yes? They somehow make these thoughts arise more often than not. And some days, and so forth, the food you eat, whatever the reasons, the first thing you do is you pre-program yourself. Those thoughts are unwelcome, ignore them. That's the first thing you do, okay? Pre-program. Thoughts, for example, I don't like you, okay? I don't like your mole is so ugly, you should get plastic surgery, okay? Why are you so bald? Wait, let me take it back. What's so funny? There's a guy who has plenty of hair right there on his head. It bothers me now. Sorry, it just came out, you know. I just don't think, it just came out. Anyway, those thoughts come out. First thing is that we will not judge people, okay? That's against the pre-program. Don't judge people, okay? That's one thing. Second thing is that sometimes they're very loud. Very, very loud, and they keep on like a dog. Wah, 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 chihuahua. Wah, 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 wah. It's like a tiny dog. It's so loud, you know. And so sometimes you cannot ignore it because it's very, very loud. Okay. What you do then, and you have more tools available to you. You mentioned it already. Recite One Yin Bodhisattva is one way. One Yin Bodhisattva, One Yin Bodhisattva. So you use your own sound in your head to overwhelm the dog's sound. Okay? If One Yin doesn't work, recite Amitabha. Chinese people, for example, when they feel that they're afflicted, they say, Emitofuo, Emitofuo. And you know they're so afflicted. You know, these Chinese people, I lived in a Chinese temple, and they have I'm very Americanized, so they didn't like my behavior, my attitude, the way I look at them, the way I judge them. So I say, Emitofuo. And the other guy said, Emitofuo. So that's another way to say, Emitofuo, okay? So you distract yourself, okay, using One Yin Bodhisattva, Amitabha, Buddha's name. Are you Chinese? You don't look Chinese.
I'm not.
Okay, never mind. So find something in your language. Okay, for the Chinese, it worked very well. Emitofuo. Okay. Amitabha, yes, these people. Okay? And so you use poison to counter poison. Whatever noise that's there, know if you reject it, know that's not yours is the third point. It becomes out and you say, oops, was that me? No, it doesn't sound like me, does it? Then, it makes it easier for you to recognize those types of thoughts. Okay? You said, that's not me. You see it for it really, what it really is. It's not you. It's your manic ghost. That's point number 3. Okay? It judges people. It says, I don't like you. So that's why in our temple in Korea, we keep certain people around because others will judge her. And it's my subtle reminder to them that you're so manic yourself. It's not her fault. Okay? Any questions?
Thank you, Master.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. So, the 5 roots, I started talking of 5 roots because they're important. They are the process of how goodnesses arise in your heart. Okay? Faith. Faith in a Dharma, faith in a cultivation. All right? Faith in your good knowing advisor. Number 2, vigor. Okay? That you vigorously practice the proper Dharma, and the point here in the Chinese teaching is very, very interesting. It says you practice non-stop, that's vigor, and then wu za is that you don't mix them. You don't mix them with, for example, yoga. Okay? Stick to the proper Dharma. It's okay initially you are not sure and so forth. It's okay. You practice those things. Eventually you see that's a huge gap. Okay? And eventually you say, okay, this is not doing much for me anymore. And then you stick to the proper Dharma because you get a lot more out of it naturally. Okay? That's what Wu-za means, that don't mix them. Don't mix Mahayana with Hinayana. Okay? You don't believe, it's your problem. Okay? Number 3, the root of mindfulness, meaning that you are constantly mindful of the proper Dharma, meaning that you are following and internalizing the Mahayana teachings. Okay? Do not waste time on non-Mahayana stuff, because Mahayana teachings is about total and pure goodness. You don't get it, but it's mining and nurturing this treasure of goodness inside your heart. All right? Number 4 root is the root of samadhi. Samadhi is about you don't allow your mind to be chaotic, confused. When your mind is not chaotic, then it's less likely to do evil. If you're in samadhi, a state of samadhi, you give rise to goodness. Interesting? This is why I said early in the morning, when you enter samadhi, you create a lot of blessings, because in that samadhi state, you give rise to goodness. So, goodness in your heart, in your mind, creates tremendous blessings for you. Okay? And you don't need anyone to certify you. You don't need anyone to recognize you. It's about your own wealth, okay, that you can draw upon down the road. That goodness. All right? Number 5, wisdom. And wisdom here is about, you look at things and you contemplate them, and that's how your wisdom arises. You are being trained in Mahayana to use your contemplative capabilities to draw upon your wisdom, to do good. Your wisdom is the kind of clarity of mind that enables you to do good. It takes wisdom to be able to do good. Not knowledge, not intellect. It's wisdom. So these are the 5 roots. The first one of all, okay, faith in the Dharma, faith in cultivation, faith in a good no advisor. Number 2, you cultivate vigorously, okay, the Dharma vigorously. Number 3, being mindful. Remember the Dharma. You learn the 42 hands and eyes. You've been transmitted 42 hands and eyes. Memorize them. Try to recite them from memory. Okay. Number 4, the samadhi. Remember, the point of being of the samadhi root is that when your mind is not chaotic, you're in samadhi. And you're creating a lot of goodnesses from samadhi. Number 5, wisdom. Wisdom is the skill you're using of the samadhi. Okay, that once you have samadhi and you enter samadhi, this is when your wisdom light shines. All the things you learn, all the things that we taught you will come to light and enable you to do great goodness. Wisdom enables you to create and to carry out and accomplish great goodness. Okay? Time is up. We stop here today. Thank you, everyone.